This week on Supercars Talk, Cam Waters is finally getting his NASCAR dream start, so I take a look at the silly season for 2025. The big news this week is that Thomas Randall is quitting Supercars to join the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra because of the piano thing he did with the Formula One theme tune for the Grand Prix. He is going to get his shot at being a famous pianist. Yesterday, April Fool's Day, when I saw the headline, I was, wait a second, and then I went, yeah. What the date is. What I found interesting, I was reading on the V8 Sleuth website. There are other motorsport websites out there. Down the bottom of the article, it actually had a line about something about traditionally on April 1st, you know, there's a bit of fun and games with April's Fool jokes or something like that. Why do we need to add that? Anyway, just a total April Fool's joke. There was also a diecast model April Fool's joke one that was very good. I will be covering that off in my April model diecast news update at the end of the week, so keep an eye out for that one. But it did involve Dick Johnson and the Commodore. But the actual big news this week is that Cam Waters is finally going to get to make his NASCAR start. This will only be in the Truck Series for Thor Sport. Never heard of those guys, but I'm not a big follower of NASCAR, so I'm not sure how good or bad they are. It will be driving a Ford, no surprises there. It's going to be at Martinsville Speedway. Now, I did play a lot of NASCAR 1 back in the day on the old PC game, if anyone remembers those Papyrus games from back in the day. And I do recall Martinsville being on there, and it was a really, really small, short track, kind of like a flat Bristol. So a really tight, essentially two D-shaped corners at the end of the straights, if you know, very, very short. And it'd be an interesting one to start off your career. But this got me thinking, could this be the first piece of the jigsaw puzzle that will be the 2025 Supercars silly season? Cam has been making a lot of noises about wanting to go overseas, like Shane van Gisbergen was, and we're still not sure what's happening with Brody Kostecki while he's under contract to Erebus, whether he will be doing more NASCAR stuff, or there's a lot of rumours about where he will end up in Australia this year, possibly next year. But we basically got two sets of camps in the field, whether you have your drivers already locked in or whether you've got big question marks on there. There is 4 teams that I understand are all locked away. So 888, I understand both of those drivers are under contract for at least next year. Grove Racing, I think both were announced for multiple years. I think Payne late last year signed an extension on his, and Richie Stataway, I'm pretty sure that was a 2-year deal. Matt Stone Racing, I think the Cam Hill announcement was multiple years. Towards the end of last year, they signed him on for multiple. I understand that was for this year and for next year. And I think Percats was a 2-year contract as well. And then Team 18, pretty sure Frosty signed on for 2 more years. And Dave Reynolds was looking for definitely a longer term contract moving there. So he's there for at least 2 years. So they're the locked away ones. Now, for the question mark teams, kicking it off, Tickford. So if Cam Waters does move, Randall, I'm pretty sure he is locked away for 2025, but Waters, he only signed a 1-year deal for this year, giving him the opportunity to move elsewhere. I can't see him moving anywhere within the category at the moment. I think if he does make a move, it will be overseas, unless there's some other movements further down, which I'll get into as I get to those teams. If Waters does move on though, where does Tickford go to find a driver? There's not a lot of what I would probably call the top echelon guys that are really available at the moment. Of course, Chaz Mostert is out of contract, but would you jump out of, leading Walkinshaw Andretti United to go to Tickford, especially at the moment? I can't see that happening. So I think Tickford's aim, were they to lose Waters, you'd be looking Deep Pasquale or Andre Heimgartner. I'd say they would be the two main aims there. If not, do you promote from within, essentially? You got Brad Vaughan, and Ryland Gray is already looking really good in his first Super 2 campaign. It's only been one weekend so far, but either of those guys, they could be good ones to make the step up if Cam Waters does decide not to stick around. Blanchard Racing, I don't think either of these guys has a contract for multiple years. I'm not sure on Aaron Love whether it was a 1 year or a multiple year thing. I can't see him going anywhere. I think they'll have first dibs on him even if it wasn't a multi-year contract. James Courtney, I assume he's not going to go anywhere else, I don't think, other than co-driver duties. If he wants to stay full-time, Blanchard's is probably his one and only hope now, and unless someone comes along with a bigger bag of money than what Snow River Caravans is kicking in, I'd say they're going to stick with Courtney, because I think they quite like being able to showcase to all of their customers and clients and everything, hey, we've got one of the most current Supercars champions in the field as part of our driver lineup. That is a big thing, being able to announce that you do have, even if it was back in 2010, you do have a champion as part of your driver lineup. Johnson Racing, both contracts are up at the end of this year. Kai Allen is... You can nearly lock this one in. Kai Allen will be racing in one of those two cars next year. Now, whether they do a full clean out or not, I think they're trying to go for Brody Kostecki. If I was Brody, I would not be going for this seat. I'd be going for one further down the list. But yeah, that's their main aim, is to get Brody Kostecki in next to Kai Allen for next year. Can't see them getting Brody, so I think they will hang on to either Will or Anton for next year while they get Kai up to speed. It may only even be a 1 year contract, and then see what's available after that. I think they're probably in the position where they're not going to get a Chaz Mostert or a Brody Kostecki, so they're probably, but then for you guys like Anton, Will Davison, ones like that, they're probably about the best option that they're going to get. So I still think DJR are in a very strong negotiating position regarding drivers. I think they'll get to make the decision on who they keep or who goes. As an outsider, I'd nearly, if I was them, keep Will Davison next to Kai Allen, because he's got more experience and he's a bit more consistent and level-headed for blooding in the new guy. Walkinshaw Andretti United. Chaz is the biggest free agent that is available at the moment, so their number one aim would be to try and keep Chaz on board. They've built the team around him. Yeah, everything you need to do, keep Chaz on board. Ryan Wood, as far as I know, that's the 2 year kind of thing, so he's going to be there in that second year. If Walkinshaw Andretti United loses Chaz, I'd say they'll be looking for another named driver. I don't think that they've got Ryan Wood there as the young guy. I'd say they'll be trying to get a name to fill that void. Of course, Cam Waters would be a big aim there. If he's not available, Brody Kostecki is sitting on the sidelines right now. That would be, they've got the budget to go and grab someone like him. Anton and Jaime, they're also big-ish names that are available. I can't see them going any lower than those guys as the aim. Premier Air Racing. Okay, these guys are the biggest dark horse in the driver market. I cannot see Slade being there next year. He might not even see out the rest of the year. They're gunning for Brody Kostecki. They want him in the lineup. If they can't get Brody, even if they do, I'd say they're probably aiming for Chaz Mostert as well. They want big name drivers at the team. That's the only thing probably holding back with Golding getting signed up straight away for another, is that they're going for bigger names before that. I would love to see Jimmy have another season. He obviously had the season a long time ago next to Garth Tander, but I'd love to see Jimmy next to someone who's got a lot of runs on the board, just to see how he stacks up against one of kind of the top echelon drivers, and whether he deserves to keep getting these chances, or whether he should kind of fade off into co-driver duties in there. But yeah, their aim, I think, is number one is Brody, and then number two is Chaz, and then the pieces will fall in from there depending on what they can get. Brad Jones Racing, 4 seats to fill here. I can't see any movement other than if Jaime gets taken by someone else. I can't see Forward getting picked up by anyone else. Macca's not going anywhere, and I think Jackson Evans, he'll need at least this year and next year to decide whether he moves up the field somewhere, or whether, he kind of levels off in that Brad Jones Racing kind of level there. I don't think any of these guys are actually contracted for next year, but yeah, I'd say the only one that any other team would be looking at would be Jaime. So then they've only got one potential seat to fill. If Jaime does go, do you then make a play for someone like Anton De Pasquale to try and fill that seat, or do you look at guys like in your co-driver ranks like John Boys or Jalen Robotham? Do you even, Hazelwood will probably be sat around doing nothing next year as well. Do you go for someone like that? But I think BJR will carry the same lineup again into next year. That's my current prediction. And finally, Erebus. I think Jack LeBrock went here on a 2-year deal, so contracts don't mean much with this team, but expect Jack LeBrock to be there once again next year. The second seat, though, will it be Todd Hazelwood's? I can't see that happening. I think at some point we are probably going to see Jaden Ojeda get a crack in that seat this year, just to see how he does go with a proper main game start. But I reckon they will promote Job Stewart from their Super 2 program. They've been singing his praises. He had an evaluation day with the team a few weeks ago. It's Barry Ryan saying it, but he did say that I think he said something like he was the most impressive on a driver evaluation day that they've had so far, and they've had quite a few driver evaluation days over the years. So my money's on it being a LeBrock and Job Stewart line up there next year. So, who are the guys sitting on the sidelines? There is quite a few names that, probably does anyone deserve a main game seat? I think there will be a bit of deck chair shuffling, but I don't think we're going to see a major overhaul with different drivers coming in. I think Todd Hazelwood is probably going to be the number one guy on the list to miss out on a seat. Of course, then Timmy Slade will be in there too. And then guys like Zach Best, Jaden Ojeda, Declan Fraser, Tyler Everingham, that will be still sat on the sidelines, not getting a full-time seat. Then you've got all of the Super 2 guys, probably this year led by Cooper Murray. Kai Allen will be in the field. That's no surprise. He's an exceptional talent that, I think under normal circumstances, he might have been in the field this year, but obviously there was longer-term plans already in place, and he kind of blew those plans out of the water, winning the Super 2 Championship at his first go last year. Everything at the moment is pointing in the right direction that he will be in the field. There's quite a large amount of Super 2 guys that probably are going to be ready, they'll have the ability to make the step up. But anyway, down in the comments, do you think we'll see Cam Waters leaving the category this year and going off to his NASCAR dream? And then, what are your predictions for the switcheroos with all the silly season kicking off this early in the season? Well, I'm kind of getting in early and, putting a bit out there. There'll be some follow-ups during the year. Until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.